OBS Bryce. This is episode 14 of the OBS build. I'm gonna talk about the steering wheel install. I put a 2015 F-150 steering wheel in here. It's not quite buttoned up yet, but it's enough to where I'm gonna go ahead and put the video out. The steering column needs a little bit addressed, and the buttons also need to be addressed. But you'll see all about that in the video. So to match this interior, that ugly piece of shit has got to go. I think I'll end up painting the trim some color I haven't decided on yet, but we just got to retrofit that hex shaft somehow onto the OBS. I don't know what the OBS looks like because I've never had it off, but I guarantee I can make it work. And I actually got one of these pigtails. Some of them, obviously, the crews probably won't ever get to work. Maybe, maybe not. That, I don't know. We'll see. We'll cross that bridge. You're out of here. A couple things. Just looking at the height of the steering wheel. They're pretty damn close. Honestly, the OBS is probably about a half an inch taller. Here you can see what I'm working with versus the hex, the depth on the OBS. So this is a good example of what I got going. That fits in there nice. This is a tapered shaft versus the splined circular section. And if we look this way, that same bolt doesn't quite fit. So I have a couple options. I was thinking I could literally cut a square out of there, take that spline and cut a square out of here. That's exactly the same size. I could use the factory OBS clock spring on here just to get the horn to work. I could buy a billet aluminum steering wheel adapter for an OBS so I don't have to cut this up, and then cut that piece into a hex that's a little bit larger than this, open this one up to maybe a 1-inch hex, 1-inch plan. I found out, if you could see, this is steel, that's aluminum. First things first is I'm gonna cut this out, and then I'm gonna hop on my computer and CAD design a piece of something on my plasma CNC table that is currently being used as a bench. And it's going to be a circle with some ears that come off, and it's going to get TIG welded to this right here. And I'm probably going to have to machine the OD of this down just a little bit. So it's like 2:45 in the morning, just got home from work. Let's try and make as little noise as possible and cut that out. Even though it's louder, I think it'll be just easier to cut it with my precision machinery tool. Safety, guys. If I can't hear it, my neighbors can't hear it, right? That's precision. This here is my redneck lathe. Not bad for a drill and a grinder. Still think it needs a little more. Those little pieces of aluminum popped out, so I guess I'll take the OD flush with those. And then I want this to taper, so I'll probably bring it back to about there before I start to taper it. All right, about to be the point of no return. So this is what I came up with. There's the drive shaft. Oh, there we go. There's the spline. I wanted to keep it thick on one side at least. And and this has a natural taper, so I will drill this out some more as close as I can and get this to kind of press down in there. Make sure that it's clocked in the correct orientation, and then you have those 3 holes that are factory holes that I just drilled out, and I'm gonna make this out of 1/4 inch. The design may change slightly, and then I will weld this. I'll TIG weld it onto there. Set that aside, and then it'll be something like that. The factory bolt will still go through there, and the washer is large enough to where it'll sandwich everything together nice and tight. So should be nice with a little bit of peace of mind with those bolts. Instead of just a press fit or a keyway, you know, those bolts with a 1/4 inch piece of steel TIG welded to this definitely won't be going anywhere. All right, so here's what we got. It's kind of tapered. That hole ain't great, but where are we at? A sanding barrel on a 1/4 inch carbide works well. Kind of beveled it out, but stick it in there. It sticks in there pretty dang good, especially because it's kind of chewed up. I just need to find what 12 o'clock is. I'll go take this out to the shaft, mark it so I can get it in here and clock it in the correct position. But so you can see how it fits in there. I left a slight lip on the edge of this, so as I tighten it in, it's actually gonna mechanically sink in onto this and kind of wedge a little bit more. Might be a little hard to tell, but there we go. Plan is to open this up just a hair so it fits on there, and then I can TIG weld it up, bend it, drill the holes, and here is the newer. It should be able to fit underneath it. So plan, I'm hoping I can do this. This is the plan. All right, so you can see I had to relief cut this 1/4 inch. I will TIG weld it all up, so don't worry about it. Bending the 1/4 inch in such a small radius, tight radius, was a little difficult. But you can see that fits on there nice. It's flush, this will get welded up. Now the issue I'm having is with this clock spring for the 15. The reason why I'd like to continue to use it is because you see the pin out right there and the pin out right there. That coincides with this pin out right here, or this pigtail. So all those would be available for me to repurpose in some way, shape, or form. I know you guys say they won't work, but if I repurpose a button, I'm assuming 12 in, 12 out, I don't know. I just don't want to lose the option of having them in the future. That's why I'm trying to stick with this clock ring. So I went out and I indexed this. There's a little like spot you can see in there that is 12 o'clock. So I'm gonna put this on here. This tab fits with this on there, but those do not. So I'm gonna have to trim these down a hair so I can get a tight radius similar to this one on these 2 legs. Never claimed to be a good TIG welder, but that'll hold. So for now, I'm just gonna get the horn to work. It's those 2 pins right there, connected here around to the horn pigtail. The steering wheel will be grounded through the column. So I need to make a little clock spring bracket that goes on the OBS. It should fit. I might have to make a little plastic column trim adapter or cover. We'll see, but I got this all welded up. And yeah, welded on both sides, and I'm gonna grind this down a little bit and then throw it in. All right, you guys could see the 3 metric 6x1 nuts popping through, and those are lock nuts, so they will not come off. Here it is. This is ground smooth enough, and this is put on there. I do want to JB weld this into the face, or into the snout. Wanted to track down which pins come out of the 2015 clock spring from the horn. So you can see, got these little wires on the correct pins, and then if I just depress any of these, that'll ground it out. Just like that. That is the horn circuit, and I will be able to just connect those 2 wires to the OBS, and my horn will work. As far as the other buttons, I'm gonna cross that bridge when I come to it. I'm probably not gonna use like the cruise control ones. I might see, and I don't know, we'll figure that out. I actually found a little Bluetooth volume up, volume down, call in, call, other call button that will almost fit in there perfect. But in the meantime, anything that I'm not going to use, I'll just end up doing a custom bezel. This piece I wanted to paint, and it wouldn't be too much work to take these buttons off and then continue the piece out of some plastic, paint it, and get it like it was never even there. So we'll see how it goes. But in the meantime, the horn switch is verified, and we can proceed further. All right, and for the stock clock spring, this one's pretty simple. Yellow's 12 volts, this is ground, this is the cruise button, and then this is just how it kind of, you know, same thing over here. And this grounds to the steering wheel when you depress it. So just those 2 and those 2, boop, be the same thing. What I'll probably do is I'll just splice into those. I have some nice T-taps, and then I'll just tape this up and tuck it away. Mounting the clock spring is to use these 3 holes, make like a little ring out of aluminum, put this on there, and then use those factory holes that are around it to fit right on there. Okay, so here's the plate. It's gonna go like that. I drilled and tapped these for 1032 or whatever it is. And I was looking at these holes, those 3, and I'm like, well, I could probably drill and tap those. Excuse my JB Weld mess, but that thing is on there permanently. I JB welded it in there, and then I have the 3 bolts on. Made this sweet little adapter for the clock spring. So that's going to be about 1.5 inches that needs to get covered up. So I'm thinking about 1.5 inches of this, and on that. This equates out to this. That's not too bad. So I'm pretty confident that the column cover is going to take up the rest of that and leave like probably an 1/8 or 1/4 inch gap in there. That honestly looks pretty freaking cool. I'm excited about this. All right, so I was pretty confident that that ring was going to bolt on here, but it turns out that the steering wheel, when it's bottomed out, it's about 1/4 inch too thick. So I'm going to have to cut these lugs off and figure out a different way to mount that ring. There it is. Made a fucking mess in here, but who cares? It's gone, but I could drill and tap in there and drill and tap in there and just same thing right there. As far as this plastic piece goes, everything I did, I couldn't come up with a solution with what I had. So there she is, ladies and gents. I was not able to remedy this situation with the materials that I have on hand. So what the plan is I'm gonna go to the junkyard and get another one on the top and another one on the bottom, cut them, extend them, plastic weld them, and then paint them. So this factory column will just come out, it's about 1.5 inches. So be about 1.5 inches. This stupid fucking thing isn't wanting to clip in, but you do have to trim. You have to trim a little bit on the bottom. I do need these plugs. There's one under there too. I need those. So yeah, I need those. Sitting here looking at all these buttons. Factory, the on off for the cruise. I think I could literally take these exact buttons and put them right here. Make a little piece of aluminum. That is the profile of the outer dimension of these. Sink that button right in there and then paint the aluminum to match this trim when I paint the trim. So I could do that. That would, both sides, horn works, Bluetooth section right here, and then I could figure something out, something to do with this. Maybe I could make this my air ride. Up, down, side to side. I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing right now, but that would be sick to get rid of some of the switches down there. So thanks to everybody who supports me, supports the channel, likes what I do to this OBS. That steering wheel, let's see. That thing looks pretty sweet. You can see the old dog right there. There's the new dog. Very happy with how it turned out. That thing is super solid in there. Not worried about it at all. Like I said, right now only the horn's working, but don't crucify me too much. I have the new clock spring in, so all the functions, all the buttons, all the circuits, they're there for future use. So that being said, I'm probably gonna retro the old cruise control buttons in there, and then I have some different stuff I'm gonna do. I looked into the adapters so I can try and make them work with an aftermarket head unit. I'm not gonna mess with any of that. I'm just gonna keep it clean, keep it simple, and probably change up a little bit on the trim. And other than that, the steering wheel's on, and then the column plastics. It's been rainy and cold in California. I don't know if you guys know, but we've had some record rain, and yeah, I don't like the rain. I'm not going out in the rain, especially not stomping through the muddy junkyards in the rain. So when it dries up and gets a little less cold, I'll go grab some of those plastics and plastic weld them together, body work it, do all that fun stuff, and then I'll do an update video, maybe just a reel or a short or something later on, and let you guys know exactly how that's all finished up. But other than that, I am pumped on it. That old OBS Ford steering wheel was junk. This thing is way better. Matches the interior, which is actually next on the list, is getting all of those mounts all buttoned up and done. So I know I really hadn't been too much on the OBS lately, kind of been doing the second gen, but you can see I got a headliner, got some sound deadening, I got seats. I'm kind of working on the interior right now, and my plasma table is up and running. So headlights need to get built, new grill needs to get designed and built, and then I'm gonna have Backyard Fabrication design me a full 4-link air ride front and back setup that I will be cutting out, welding, fabricating, and installing on my truck, probably in the springtime when it gets a little warmer out, because I don't have a shop. I have a little mini shop. But yeah, just wanted to do an outro. Again, thank you guys for subscribing, liking, all that fun stuff, all the support I get on Instagram, TikTok. I appreciate you all. And thanks for watching. OBS Bryce. See you guys later.